Hey everyone, welcome to my experiment. This is going to be me talking about days 1 through 3, mainly through the lens of the Kise breakdown. I've never done one of these like daily or every few days updates on how the tournament is going because that's why I started doing the community posts. I am a writer by nature. I like writing those things out. It's a little bit easier for me. And I think some of you actually like reading sometimes rather than getting everything in a video format. That's why the Kise breakdown created, I realized it created a good opportunity to do something like this without just going through everything that's happening in the Basho. It also gives me a chance to do things a little more extemporaneously. I'm going to do this as like a very lightly edited thing. Really, I plan on only editing this to take out, like if I have to switch between programs or videos or something and that takes a while and that's not really worth watching. But for the most part, I want to just try doing something where I just talk, right? Where I just talk and show stuff, and it's certainly not low effort, but it's a lot less editing. I want to get better at stuff like that. So, okay, let's talk about the Kise guys. Kazuma is the easiest to talk about. Like his match here against Daiseisan was the only one that was interesting. I've got this partway into the match. I didn't actually check where into the match I was. So here he lifts him up, and so here he's really got him in a good position, right? Like Daiseisan is hanging on by a thread, and then Daiseisan turns. And that's okay because Kazuma is still in a great position. And then Daiseisan's got his belt and he's really trying to, I mean, at this point, this requires a miracle, right? Kazuma is 450 pounds. He's sitting basically right on top of him. But then Daiseisan manages to just rip free, which was frankly a genius move that as much as it might have been his only option, a lot of guys would have hung onto the belt with both hands and just tried to yank Kazuma down. That is a thing. So for Daiseisan to let go, even if he was just okay, so for Daiseisan to just let go like that was, I mean, it was really good. It was really good. Even if he was sort of forced off of it, and so it wasn't that genius, whatever, he ran with it. And then he got the spin, and VLC likes to pixelate if I pause too much. Let's just go through that again with like clean video. So Daiseisan is dying, he's about to lose, and then he spin moves him and gets Kazuma out. So that one, and he knows, Kazuma knows he had no business losing that fight. So the other two were, and yes, this looks really weird. I cropped the video and it looks normal when we get to the fight, but it looks very strange with the little tags or the little pictures up front at the start. And then he just like blows out Asasuyu. Oops. And Toki Hayate gets him. Toki Hayate puts up slightly more of a fight, but really not at all. Kazuma's doing what he's supposed to do, right? Kazuma has absolutely blown out two much smaller opponents. He had his, like, closer to his size opponent in a bad position and then lost, and that's going to happen. We'll see how things go from this point forward. But so far, there's not a whole lot to talk about with him. Ooooh, it's been a little weirder. Like, he's been trying, he's been doing his best. But Ichi Yamamoto, he gets the hands under him, and this is really the thing. And I know we've got it a little bit cut off because of the crop, I'm sorry. Ichi's got Ooooh pushed back. He's not always able to pull this off, but when he is, that's how you set up a pull down. Oh, like, again, I can't really see it, and apologies, but you can sort of tell that Ooooh's neck is pushed back, and that's how you set up a pull down like that. That you just get out of the way, pull down a little bit if you can, and just let the guy fall forward. That's how you do that. That's done very well by Ichi Yamamoto. Whatever, it happens. That's why they have a close head-to-head. Daisho does something similar. He's got Ooooh pushed back, and then Ooooh gets inside. Like, this is what Ooooh wants. Ooooh should win from this position. As much as Daisho blows him out on a regular basis, this should be a winning spot. And then, somehow, Daisho has the presence of mind. I shouldn't say that. Like, he's a good wrestler. He has the presence of mind because he's good. But then, he makes it work. And that's the surprising thing. Because Ooooh does not usually let this happen to him. Because he usually can't pull this off on people. But he just manages to get Ooooh flung out by the arm just before he steps out. You know, nice job. Again, Ooooh got into a bad position, got into a better position, and this one he was a little bit unlucky here. But again, sort of like with the Kazuma loss, that's the kind of thing that happens. Kaboom. Then we move on to the Shodai fight, and this one is a little more troubling in terms of Ooooh's possible mindset. So let's let this get started. And okay, so I'm gonna go a little bit frame by frame. So what I said in the breakdown is that Ooooh keeps his hands in. Sometimes he does a little battering ram. Sometimes he reaches out. In this case, his arms are not folded in, but that's okay. But he's reaching to the outside. This was a thing he used to do a lot more back in the day. He has not really done this much. And I was trying to figure out why he might do this. And to be honest, I'm not sure. I don't know what his plan was. Because what ends up happening, and again, VLC not real good with coming out of a frame-by-frame situation. What ends up happening is Shodai works his arm underneath, and I even got the pen work in. Hooray! He gets his arm underneath Ooooh's right here. And for a guy as big and strong as Shodai, as much as he's not hit the old Ozeki he used to be, he's still a big, strong dude. So for him to get that arm underneath Ooooh's with the height advantage on top of that, that's bad. That is not good for Ooooh. And a big part of why he's able to do that is that Ooooh threw his arms out and kind of allowed it to happen. So if we keep going, now he's got Ooooh pushed back. Now Ooooh does his little limbo, but Shodai is pushing right up on him. Ooooh manages to get off the Tawara. He sort of turns it around, but really all he's doing is surviving. When he gets down like that, he's trying to find an attack angle, but Shodai's not giving him anything. All Shodai has to do is really hold on and, you know, walk Ooooh to the edge and get him out. And I don't know why my voice cracked. So for Shodai, he got into a winning position right away and just didn't give it up. Like, that was not that difficult for him, all things considered. So if we go back to the start of the fight, it really is all about Ooooh doing something different on the Tachi here. When he throws his arms out like that, like, I don't know what he thought was going to happen. I really don't. Maybe he thought he was going to pinch Shodai's arms in, like pinch that left arm in so he couldn't get to the belt, and wasn't planning on Shodai going underneath his arm like that. But man, it might be that I don't know like the super finer points of the sport as well as I'd like, but this just looks like Ooooh took 2 losses and was like, I got to try something. And he was hoping Shodai would give him an opening, and it didn't happen. I don't know. That's the best explanation I have for it. Ooooh is 0-3. It's a little bit of bad luck, but it's not looking great for Pinky Boy even off the start. Now let's go to Chura Naomi, who definitely had stuff to watch. Now let's go to Chura Naomi. He had stuff to watch, and against Koto Shoho, he comes in, and Koto Shoho, off that initial collision, you see Chura, he's reaching down, he's doing his reach, and Koto Shoho just arm blocks his left hand down and in, and he gets just thrown off balance immediately. And then Koto Shoho just has to follow him out, and then he slipped. He hit the sand instead of the Tawara. That's the end of the fight. That was a great block by Koto right off the start. He knew it was coming, and that was the match, right? That was the match. Against Aonishiki, it was a lot more interesting, because Aonishiki doesn't block him off like that, and Chura just keeps pushing the arms. He's pushing under the arms. He's getting under the arms. He's just keeping Aonishiki at bay. This is very similar to when he won in March. He's doing everything he can to keep Aonishiki off the belt. It's just that this time, it's not enough. When I say Chura is going to go in and out of Hai Maegashira, which the implication is he's not going to make the Sanyaku, that's kind of why. Because there are guys like Aonishiki who, even when he does everything right, even when he does everything according to his plan, those guys are still going to beat him more often than not, because they're just bigger, stronger, faster, more athletic, whatever. They've got the physical tools to just beat him anyway. So as long as they realize they need to not beat themselves, it's going to be a problem for him. And now we go on to this Koto-Sakura match, this one was, to me, the most interesting. Because even though the Aonishiki fight took a while, it was all kind of what I would expect. But this one, Koto Shoho knew what to do. Koto-Sakura should also know what to do, right? Well, boom. Did the same thing. Turned him in. Perfectly. That's exactly what you want to do against Chura. Chura pivots back. Okay, cool. And Koto's coming after him. So Chura just grabs... Oh, pixelation. Why do you frustrate me so? So Chura just grabs his arm and yanks him. And he yanks him so hard that Koto's like, what is going on? That allows Chura to get behind him. And that's the fight. That was a great move by Chura. I don't know if he kind of expected Koto to get his arm out and that he could grab it, or if that's a thing that he just keeps an eye on normally and it worked out this time, or if it was just a reflex. I have no idea. But it was a great move. He got a very good win. Koto-Sakura did exactly what he should do. Everybody should do that against Chura, but sometimes he's still going to find wins like this. Okay. And now Kinbozan. And I know how I'm saying that, but like, this has been so frustrating to watch. So against Atamifuji, he gets his hands up, right? He gets his hands up. We're going to go frame by frame. And Atamifuji hits his right arm, hits Kinbozan's right arm with his left forearm, folds it up, and now Kinbozan has no push. And then from there, Atamifuji gets the belt, and he just wheels him around. And even with that bad arm, he's strong enough that this is not really a difficult win. Okay, so Kinbozan might have been wanting to push, but Atamifuji blew it up. Cool, whatever. Now we got his match against Onokatsu, which went a lot better. Why did it go better? Well, he's coming in. He gets the forearms up, but he doesn't really try to brace the forearms. This is much more of a push situation. Like, the only reason his forearms get up against Onokatsu's body, and I'll start back a second so I can ink this. So he starts, his hands are on Onokatsu's face. This is not a situation where he's aiming to hit with the forearms first. He's getting the hands in place first. And then once because they're two huge dudes colliding, then his forearms end up against Onokatsu's body. But he's still got enough force behind it so that he can shove. And he shoves before Onokatsu can get his belt, which is really all he needs. Because from there, it's pretty much over. If we watch it at actual real speed, we can see what happens now that we're looking at it more carefully. Boom, gets the push, Onokatsu's done. That's it, right? Onokatsu wants the belt, Kinbozan wants the push, Kinbozan got what he wanted, Kinbozan won. Done. End of story. So then we get to this Nishiki-Fuji fight. And this was, oh my god. So Kinbozan just misses. He just misses. He just misses. I cannot express this with enough contempt. He wants, I don't even know what he wanted. He might have wanted this hand to hit the body, or he might have wanted this forearm, because this is what he did against Nishiki-Fuji in May, and it won him the fight. Well, he won the fight, I should say. And he might want that against the shoulder, you know, the front of the chest. Instead, he puts his hand up. Nishiki-Fuji doesn't duck. Let's watch that one more time, because I cannot express enough contempt for this. He gets up. Nishiki-Fuji just rises up at a normal angle. He doesn't dodge. Kinbozan hits his shoulder and just whiffs it. There's nothing more to it than that. That is, when that is like the core of your game, you can't do this. You can't do this. And then, well, so if we start back at the beginning, he misses, Nishiki-Fuji's inside, that's the end of the fight. I'm sure Kinbozan was as surprised as anybody that he just straight up missed that, but that is what happened. Oh my god. A couple more notes, and we're going to get away from the Kise guys a little bit. Atamifuji against Ooooh. Like, Atami has looked fantastic, but this fight was, like, we've talked about Ooooh not being, like, being very underwhelming, but still being talented, and Ooooh puts up a legitimate fight here. Like, he's got the double underhooks, that should be really good for him, and he just gets physically overwhelmed by Atamifuji. This is something that Atami wouldn't do a year ago. Couldn't do a year, well, I think we all thought he could do it a year ago, whether he could or not, I don't know, but he's doing it now. It's like very impressive, very impressive. So his 3-0 is against three, you know, certainly not the toughest guys he's gonna fight, but he's looked great in all three wins. Koto Shoho, you know, his first two wins were really good, but it looked like Yoshino Fuji, even though he's done well against Yoshino Fuji, this one looked like it might be the one that, like, really tests him. Boom. He is the pusher. He is the real pusher in this one. Gets Yoshi pushed to the side, and he just wins. Dominated that fight. Absolutely gave Yoshi no room to breathe at all. Like, both of these guys have been killing it in a way that, frankly, I didn't expect. Like, both of these guys have always shown flashes of this ability, and they showed a decent amount of it in May, but they also took losses that were like, oh man, with the best guys out, if this is what's happening, I'm not totally convinced. Like, they're a lot better. This is probably the best versions of them, but I'm still not convinced even these best versions of them are going to get the job done. These versions, the ones we've seen these first three matches, if they keep showing up, they're not going to go 15-0, but oh boy, I mean, they're going to make things a lot more interesting than I thought they would have. And now just and one little quick side note, Asasuyu absolutely killing it from the top of Jurio. Skip forward a little bit. This win today over Kyokukayu was super nice, and I am totally mistiming when the fight starts. Stays low. And Asasuyu is just killing it from the top of Jurio. Here against Kyokukayu today. Kyokukayu, I called him on Nishiki Light because he likes to stay super, super low. but Asasuryu's small enough that that's not necessarily a huge advantage. Kyoku actually stays a little bit lower, gets the head under the chin. Asasuryu never stops moving, finds the angle, pulls him out by the arm. Great job. I've got very little doubt that he's gonna make Makuuchi at this point. And Kyoku Kaiyu could too. Like, from Jurio 1 West, an 8 and 7 probably gets him there. But Asasuryu looks like locked in. I don't know how he blows this. So yeah, those were the guys I wanted to talk about. But somebody, I think it was Jorge, in the comments, suggested that maybe I put odds on everybody's chances of winning. And if I'm going to try doing this every third day for this tournament, hey, that sounds like a pretty good idea. So I'm not going to mention anybody where I see the odds of them winning at like 0%, right? So almost everybody who's got a losing record right now is just out. So let's start with the guys who are at, I'm going to keep it simple. We're just going to go like whole numbers, right? Like 1%. So who's got a 1% chance to win? Well, Yoshino Fuji. I mean, he started 1 and 2, and I think we know he has the capacity to beat some of these better guys. It's probably not going to happen, not to the degree he needs it to. He's going to have to, like, his chances of winning the Yusho would require him losing one more fight. I don't see that happening, but he's good enough. I'll 1% him. I'm actually going to put Onosato at 2% because he looked good against Takano Sho, and I think that is kind of where he was at against Fujinokawa. His brain melted. His brain absolutely melted, and today it didn't. So he looked good today. If he had fought Takano Sho before Fujinokawa, I don't think he loses to Fujinokawa. Like, that's where he appears to be, which means he could go on a Godzilla roll. He really could. Am I expecting it? Not quite. But I think that his win today makes it a lot more likely that he is able to stick through the whole tournament. Like, we saw something today that makes it look like he's healthy enough to make it all 15 days with a Yokozuna decent record. So yeah, we'll put Onosato at 2%. Did I just do Onosato again? Onosato at 2%. Who else would we put at 1%? We've got Yoshino Fuji. Fujinokawa fans, bless your hearts, but he's not getting 12 wins. I'm sorry. Hakuno Fuji. I think Hakuno Fuji, we give him that little sliver of a chance, but what Aonishiki did to him today, he's not there yet. He really isn't. Am I nice to Daisho or Ichi Yamamoto? No, probably not. Wakano Sho. He still has enough exploitable parts of his game that, like, if he goes 8-0 and then starts seeing Sanyaku guys, he's going to take enough losses, he'll fall out of the race. But maybe, just maybe. I would have put Kazuma probably at 2 or 3% if he hadn't had that loss, if he was 3-0. Okay, Shishi fans, if he's 3-0, I'll give him the 1%. That is more than generous. Everyone else, like Asakaryu's 2-1, I don't think so. Takeru Fuji, not in his current state. Abi's loss today showed he really doesn't have a chance. Let's see. Oh, Fujiryoga. I forgot Fujiryoga. Fujiryoga absolutely is going to go in that pile, because if he can keep guys off of him, he's got a good chance. The odds of him keeping all those guys off of him are just not very good. Okay. Do we think anybody is higher than 1%? Well, I mean, obviously there are guys. Do we think anyone is low, but higher than 1%? Let's go with, and I just realized how small this text is. Can I make it? Oh, hang on. Ooh, I like that. That should be a lot easier to read. Okay. So we've got 2% Onosato. I'm going to go 3. Oh. So we got to do that for everything now. All right. 3% Takayasu. One more win. Like, every win is going to just increase this further. Basically, if he keeps going undefeated up to like 10, then I'm going to just add 1% to his chances of winning the Yusho each time. Like, if you've been around the sport for any amount of time, you know his history. Like, that may seem low. If he's 10-0, you're only going to give him a 10% chance of the Yusho. Yup. I mean, it kind of depends on everyone around him, but currently, yup. Like, oh, Koto should also be in the 1% group. Again, like last time, I think we saw he's really not got the game for the upper echelon yet, but he's improving. He's always improving. So maybe miracles can happen. All right. So the actual legitimate contenders. Hoshoryu didn't blow a hole in his chances, but I mean, come on. That was what a dumpster loss to Fuji. Ugh. So we're going to put why, oh my God. Why can't we just make this whole thing that size all the time? Anyway, Kotozakura, like we've seen, if he somehow is miraculously healthy enough that he can go hard all 15 days, his chances of winning are actually much better than 5%. But since we can never trust that that's true, we're going to put him there. There's got to be a way to make this permanent. I hate this. All right, I think that fixed it. All right, I think that fixed it. So we've got, who do we got left? We've got Hoshoryu, Kirishima, Atamifuji, Kotoshoho, and Aonishiki. Do I think Atami and Kotoshoho have a better chance than Kotozakura? No. So we're going to just put them at the 5% level, because a 3-0 start from that position is pretty good. And I'm not going to keep acting like they're not fighting well enough to get the job done. Kotoshoho, like for him, you know what? Let's bump him up because he has that Yusho experience. So he's a lot less likely to get overwhelmed by the moment. 10% is too high. I'll give him 7%. So we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 12, 22. We've got 29% accounted for. And we've got Hoshoryu, Kiri, and Aonishiki left, really. I don't think I'm forgetting anybody. If I am, I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments. So let's go with, if we got 71% left, I think we're going to go with, well, Hoshoryu's got the loss. So that knocks him down a little bit. So we're going to go 20% Hoshoryu. You know what? Let's do this. 21% Hoshoryu. Yeah. And then that leaves us with 50%, and then 25% Kirishima and Aonishiki. That should add up to 100%. So I'm looking at Kiri and Aonishiki as the favorites because they're 3-0 to Hoshoryu's 2-1, but Hoshoryu is close. Everyone else, is kind of faded back a little bit. Onosato could turn things around quite a bit in the next few days, but he's still got to do it. So we're going to wait on that. All right, that is the first experimental days 1 through 3 July digest. I don't know what we're going to call it. Hope you've enjoyed. Come back in a few days for the next one, and I'll see you then.